Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something huge, maybe the most intimidating thing on anyone's to-do list, achieving an epic goal.
And we don't just mean a big project, right? We're talking those massive, life-changing goals.
Exactly. The kind that seem almost impossible. They demand real change, rely on so many other things falling into place.
Yeah, the kind you write down and your brain just freezes.
Right. Instant brain freeze.
And that paralysis, that initial overwhelming feeling, that's actually the thing that stops most people cold.
It's like looking at Mount Everest and forgetting you first need to, just tie your boots.
Precisely. So our mission today, digging into the source material, is to pull out the strategy. It's a bit counterintuitive for getting past that fear.
We want to give you the blueprint for making those first steps manageable and successful.
That's the plan, how to actually start.
Okay, so here's this paradox that keeps popping up in the research. We tend to default to failure almost immediately because we get completely stuck asking, how do I possibly do all of this? How do I handle the next 5 years?
Yeah, the sheer scale of it.
But the secret, the thing that actually unlocks momentum, is realizing you don't need the answer to every single how do I, not right away.
You just need to commit to one step.
Just one. Because somehow the knowledge you gain from that one step, it lights up the path to the next one.
It really does. It's just cognitive overload otherwise. You think you have to see the whole 1,000-piece puzzle finished before you even open the box.
So we're showing you how to just find that first corner piece.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dive in. If we agree we only need one step, where do we aim that energy first?
Well, the blueprint seems really clear on this. You can't get to your destination if you don't know what it is.
Define the end goal. First things first.
And defining it isn't just like a checkbox. It's got to be a sensory experience. Visualization is absolutely key here.
We're talking a big, bold dream, right? Something that means success to you.
Yeah, the source material gives these great examples like picturing yourself standing on a stage, maybe 1,000 people in front of you totally engaged.
Or seeing yourself on, say, a national TV show talking about how you did it.
Exactly. You, listening right now, need to make that end picture so real, so vivid, it almost feels tangible. What does your specific end picture look like, feel like?
Okay, so once you've got that vision locked in, then you start thinking about the roadmap.
Right, developing the plan. But we need to be realistic.
Yeah, the source material really emphasizes this isn't going to be a straight line. It talks a lot about roadblocks, detours, and more than a few potholes.
Which is exactly why some planning is crucial, even if you can't map every single turn.
This brings us to that military saying, doesn't it?
The British Army's 7 Ps. Proper planning and preparation prevents piss-poor performance. Love that one.
It's blunt, but it works.
And it's not about planning every minute for the next year. It's about preventing that mental paralysis that comes from feeling disorganized.
Like spending 30 minutes now to get things sorted saves hours of panning later.
Exactly. Having that rough direction, knowing generally where you're headed, that's essential before you even start the engine.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So clear destination, some planning. What about commitment? The goal's huge, so the commitment needs to match.
This is where it gets really interesting psychologically. We're talking total resolve.
The difference between trying and doing.
Pretty much. The source quotes Jack Canfield, from the Success Principles. He said something profound. A 99% commitment to something is very hard. 100% commitment is easy.
Wait, 99% is harder than 100%? How does that work?
Think about it. If you're only 99% committed, you're constantly debating with yourself, should I do this today? Can I skip it? Is it really that important?
That constant internal negotiation, exhausting.
Totally exhausting. It leaves all this wiggle room, as the source calls it, for excuses to creep in.
So 100% commitment, Canfield called it the no exceptions rule. It's basically taking the choice off the table?
Precisely. Full commitment eliminates the daily debate. It forces you to find the best way forward in whatever circumstance you're in, because failing just isn't an option anymore.
Like that intense analogy the author used, committing to jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, maybe a bit extreme, but the point is, once you're 100% in, the decision is made. You stop worrying about the how of landing way down the line, and you focus completely on the immediate how of this moment.
Okay, so full commitment. Then what? Where does that focus go?
Right back to the immediate practical reality. Ask yourself, what is the absolute first thing I can actually do right now?
Something within my power, my current abilities.
Yes. It might not need deep knowledge. Maybe it's just doing some research online or having one conversation.
Like the examples in the source. The author wanting to be a professional speaker, having no clue where to begin.
Right. The first step wasn't booking a stadium tour. It was just looking up professional speaking associations.
Which led straight to the National Speakers Association and a whole world of resources.
Exactly. Or mentioning wanting to coach. And someone points them directly to Aurora Winter, who specializes in that.
So in both cases, the how was completely unknown until they defined the goal, committed 100%, and then took that tiny immediate first step. A Google search. A conversation.
That's it.
But doesn't breaking it down so small risk making the goal feel less important? Like if I only focus on this tiny step, do I lose sight of the big picture? Maybe don't allocate enough mental energy.
That's a fair point, and it leads us straight into simplification, or what people often call chunking.
Okay.
The trap is definitely focusing too much on how massive the goal is.
Yeah.
That makes you stumble before you even start.
Yeah.
So the fix is simplifying the steps as much as you possibly can.
Not to diminish the goal, but to minimize the paralysis.
Exactly.
The marathon story is a perfect example for a linear goal.
Classic example. Running 26.2 miles. Just seemed brutal for a beginner.
So how is it chunked?
Okay, step 1, just research the distance. Step 2, join a group, like team in training, for support. Step 3, create the actual training schedule. Step 4, fundraising that created accountability.
The accountability piece is key.
Huge. And then the training itself was broken down. First a half marathon, then hitting mile 17, then 20, then 26, and finally just focusing on that last little 0.2 miles.
Just each milestone was a win.
Right. And when the author hit that infamous 20-mile wall, the next goal wasn't the finish line miles away. It was just making it to the next water station. Little victories.
Okay, that makes sense for something linear, like running. But what about creative goals, like writing a book? That seems harder to chunk.
It is harder. The source talks about this. The goal was a whole book, felt impossible. The author didn't even see themselves as a writer.
So sitting down to type for hours felt like setting up for failure.
Exactly. So the solution was finding a simpler method. In this case, dictation. It bypassed the perceived weakness of writing.
And the commitment.
Simple daily step. Dictate for 1 hour. No more, no less initially. Clear on the what, the finished book, but flexible on the how until they found that manageable first step.
So nail the what, then find the easiest how for step 1.
That's the core idea. Be clear on the goal, flexible on the initial method.
Okay, so we've chunked the steps. Now we need focused execution. And that means avoiding multitasking.
Ruthlessly. The source puts it pretty bluntly. I have not met a person yet who can write a book with their right hand while simultaneously doing math with their left.
Oh, okay, fair point.
Trying to do too much at once just fragments your attention, leads to frustration, feeling overwhelmed. Guaranteed.
The key word then is focused.
It is. And it goes back to preparation again, like baking a cake, right?
How so?
You wouldn't turn the oven on and then realize you need flour and drive to the store, come back, realize you need eggs, drive back out.
Right, you get everything ready first, ingredients, tools, recipe laid out.
Exactly. Planning and preparation mean you have the tools and resources ready before you start. If it's a podcast, you need the mic set up, the software running, the outline done before you hit record.
And once you start that focused work, knowing when to stop is also important. That seems counterintuitive, too.
It does, but think about the author dictating the book. They strictly limited it to 1 hour a day.
Why? Why not push through if you're on a roll?
Because consistently going over could mean a sore throat, burnout, breaking the daily routine. Momentum is fragile.
So, better to stop when the day's step is done, feel successful, and be fresh for tomorrow. Protect the consistency.
Protect the momentum. Exactly. That boundary is vital, which leads to scheduling.
Putting it on the calendar.
You have to schedule dedicated time. The author learned this the hard way, editing the Epics Begins podcasts. Huge backlog. Felt impossible.
Until
the task was chunked. Maybe edit 1 episode, or even just 1 segment, and specific time blocks were put on the calendar, often early morning.
So find your best time and protect it. Build the schedule around your life. Don't just try to cram it in randomly.
Yes. Make it work for you.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. We need to be honest about what we're not good at, right?
Absolutely. No one's a master of everything. It's just as important to list what you can't do or shouldn't be doing as what you can.
And then figure out who can help.
Yes. And people generally like to help, but, and this is crucial, you have to ask specifically.
Don't just say, help me.
No, that puts all the burden on them to figure out what you need. Be specific. The source mentions that great Tip O'Neill story, the politician.
Oh, yeah, he lost a key vote.
Because he just hadn't asked the crucial person directly. When he asked why, the person said, "You didn't ask."
Wow. The lesson being,
It's usually less risky to ask than not to ask. But make the request clear, make it actionable.
so instead of, can you help my speaking career? Ask someone like Aurora Winter, can you give me specific advice on getting to the next bigger level of speaking engagements?
Perfect example. That uses their specific expertise effectively.
And this isn't just about feeling good. There's hard data on mentorship and delegation, isn't there?
Overwhelming data. That Startup Genome Report back in 2011. Tech startups with mentors who track their progress, who learn from others.
They do better.
Massively better. They raise 7 times more money and have 3.5 times better user growth than startups trying to figure it all out alone.
7 times the funding. Just for asking for help and tracking things. That's incredible.
That's a huge ROI. Mentors provide accountability, focus, and strategically, you need the right people. You need cheerleaders.
Not the killjoys.
Definitely not the killjoys. The ones who are always saying, "Oh, you'll never do that," or, warning you you'll end up living in a van down by the river.
Right. Avoid those people.
And constantly ask yourself about new tasks. Is doing this myself the absolute best use of my time to hit my deadline? Or can someone else on my team do it better, faster? That's strategic delegation.
Okay, so we've planned, committed, chunked it down, built a support team. Now we just execute perfectly.
If only. Now we have to accept the inevitable. Stuff happens. Unexpected things.
Good stuff, bad stuff, challenging stuff.
Amazing, challenging, sometimes tragic things will come up.
Yeah.
The goal here is just be kind to yourself. Forgive the missteps. Don't let frustration be the thing that stops you.
It's about how you frame those unexpected events.
Exactly. Shifting the emotional frame. You've got to try and see unexpected things not as absolute roadblocks, but maybe as opportunities.
Like the travel examples the source uses.
Yeah. Miss your connecting flight. Okay, frustrating. But maybe it means you get to have an amazing, relaxed meal you otherwise would rush past.
Or lost luggage means you get to explore shops in a new city you wouldn't have seen.
Right. It's about finding the potential upside, or at least not letting the downside derail everything, embracing the peaks and the valleys.
Because it's so easy to let one setback just poison the whole effort. That negative self-talk starts, see, I knew this is too big.
You have to shut that down. Find genuine enjoyment in the process, in the daily steps. Because if you only wait for the huge summit moment to feel good, you're going to miss out on like 99% of your life.
Yeah, that's a simple truth, isn't it? Our entire life is a journey. Shouldn't we be enjoying it?
If you can hold on to that, forgive yourself the small bumps, those unexpected things won't stop you from reaching that EP's goal.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the core takeaways for the listener?
Okay, 4 key action steps straight from this deep dive. 1, list your dream, get specific. What is that EP goal? Visualize the end picture, make it real.
Here.
Choose your very first step. Find the path of least resistance for step 1. Doesn't need to be complicated, just doable.
3.
Plan it. Once you've picked that step and committed 100%, give it some structure. Proper preparation prevents problems.
And 4.
Stop when you've achieved that step for the day. Protect your momentum. Doing one thing excellently today is always enough. Build on it tomorrow.
So when you're looking at that mountain of a goal, feeling completely overwhelmed,
Remember, the power to start, the power to overcome that scale, is always in that one small, committed first step.
which brings us to that final thought from Jim Rohn. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse.
Stop looking for the perfect, complete blueprint for the next 5 years.
Just find a way to start today with step 1.